Today's workout is a 20-minute postpartum upper body workout, beginner. This workout will help you tone and strengthen your upper body with moves that are simple and effective for postpartum training. You'll need a set of light to moderate dumbbells and a mat. Let's get started. Hey mamas, welcome to today's beginner upper body postpartum strength workout. We're going to be working the upper body with different muscle groups, so you may need a heavier and a lighter set of dumbbells. For example, triceps, you may want lighter, chest, you may want heavier. We're gonna start on our backs with that chest press, so grab the heavier weights, come down, bring your heels towards your butt, your weights up. We're gonna take the arms out wide, elbows to the floor, and then squeeze, bring those weights back together. So elbows wide like goalposts, press the upper back into the bench, squeeze to the top. Open the chest by pulling those elbows down. Then again, press the upper back into the floor. Exhale on that push. Make sure you're not resting at the bottom here. We want those elbows to stay off the floor. Even better if you've got a little bench to lay back on. But just a mat works, that's all I've got, so no worries. We're working that chest first because that's a bigger muscle group. We're getting not just the chest here, but also the triceps, biceps, and shoulders. Rest. So we're gonna get everything kind of warmed up in these first few movements. Triangle press is next. So the plates or the dumbbells come together, pointing at the top like a triangle. Then bring the elbows wide, palms face in here, and then squeeze. So wide at the bottom, narrow at the top like a triangle. And then you're pushing those weights together at the top, trying to make that point. You're gonna feel this in between your armpits, and that's where we want it. That's that pectoral connection. You're gonna feel it in your biceps a little. On the way up, feel free to come up a little quicker. That's the eccentric part of the movement. So we wanna exhale, engage on that part. Keep those shoulders away from ears, dumbbells in line with the middle of your chest. We don't wanna come up too high. We wanna keep that work in the chest as well. Rest. We're gonna keep those weights over the middle of the chest, push them together so they're touching, they're glued together. We're gonna do a diamond press. We're gonna take those dumbbells to about belly button level or the lower ribs and then press up over the shoulders. So belly button level, elbows to the floor or close to it. And we want those elbows in close to the ribs. So this one now we're getting the chest but also the triceps. You're gonna start to feel the back of those arms more. Now keep pressing the weights into each other. That's gonna keep that tension in the muscle and make it more challenging. If you do want to make it easier, you can drop one weight and just use one dumbbell for this exercise. Or a weight plate works well too if you've got a weight plate. Even a ball would work, something that's weighted. Last one. We're gonna flip it over now. Carefully put your weights down. We're going to a push or a tricep kickback. So grab a lighter weight if you haven't been using light weights. We're gonna come to a hinge position, legs at 90, lean forward, forearm on the thigh. We're gonna take the weight up to the hip and then extend it back and bring it back to the hip about 90 degrees, extend back. So we wanna keep the shoulder down, hips and shoulders square to the side of the room, and take that arm, extend it 90 degrees straight back, leading with that pinky finger. So we get that extension of the arm, targeting that tricep. Triceps are a smaller muscle, so it's gonna feel more challenging here, especially with a single unilateral movement like this. So that's why you may need to go lighter today on this movement. Even like a 1 or a 2 pound weight will suffice. If you don't have a weight, like a water bottle, that works well too. You can get creative here. All right, let's do the other side. So bring it up 90 degrees. And we want that forward lean to allow us to properly lever the arm. So it should be 90 degrees, straight back. So if you're here, it's really hard to make that happen, right? So even if you've got like a little stairs, you can also come here and do it this way, but if you don't have a step or stairs or something to lean on, even a chair would be fine. This is a great option. Again, keeping that shoulder away from the ear, keeping that chest up even as we're hinged forward. Rest. All right, push-up time. You knew they were coming. Negative push-ups. I'll show you what to do. Starting on the knees or the toes, shoulders over wrists, fingertips fan out. We're gonna slowly come down to the bottom, all the way down, knees stay on the ground, push up. Exhale on the push. Lift the knees or keep the knees down. Slowly come to the bottom of the push-up, chest goes all the way to the ground, slow, 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 core engaged, knees down, stay down. Exhale on the push. Make sure you're keeping that body weight forward. Do you see what I'm doing here? Shoulders are over wrists, then coming right over those fingertips. Knees down, core engaged. Hands are just a little wider than shoulder width apart here because we're working that full upper body range of motion. Core is really tight here. That's so important. That's going to help us on that eccentric part of the movement, the hard part, which is right here. See if we can get one more in. It's beginner friendly, but it's not easy. Don't get it confused. All right, grab the weights. Stand up. We're going to do a bicep curl 21, 7 bottom halves. Halfway up, all the way to the legs. So belly button level, all the way to the legs. Palms should face up right here. Elbows under shoulders right here. That's 7, stay here. Top halves, all the way up, halfway down. 6, 21, so it means 7 each way. So 7, 5, 6, that's 7. Now full range, all the way up, all the way down. 7 curls, here we go. 7, 6, exhale on the top. Rotate those dumbbells to the outside of the shoulders. 4 more. 3, 2, 1. We beat the clock by 3 seconds, nice. All right, weights down. Shake it out. We're going to a bent over row. So heavy weights or stay with the lighter. Heavier is my preference for this. It's a little, you can handle more weight on your back typically. So hinge from the hip, weight in the heels, shoulders back and down. Pull those weights to your hips, release. So you're sitting back into the hip. Now the more flat your back is, the closer to parallel to the floor, the harder it's gonna be. So if you come here, it's gonna be a lot more challenging. If you come upright a little more, less challenging. So there's a lot of room to play with the range, but make sure you are not rounding your back at any point. And if you feel pain or discomfort in the low back, make sure to stop. We want to stay connected to that core and glutes. That's really going to help assist us so we can eventually get lower, work the range a little more here, but it's beginner. So again, you can stay here wherever you feel the most supported in that low back. All right, keep the heavy weights or drop to lighter. Your choice, your preference. Feet under hips, shoulders back and down. We're going to an upright row. So you're gonna bring the elbows up and back slightly. Weights come to that low chest. So up and then pull slightly back to get into those rear delts. Upright rows are so good for posture, which postpartum, you know, we need a lot of help with that. And in fact, I've got plenty of workouts that target the back body and a few posture corrective workouts if you're really wanting some more specific postural exercises. Because I know for myself with breastfeeding, baby wearing, rocking the baby, all the things, you are just not, let's just say you need all the help you can get with your posture. I still do, in fact, and my youngest is 19 months. Last one here. All right, you're gonna want lighter weights for this one. So I'm switching back to my 10s. Feet under hips, we're gonna do a front to lateral raise. We're gonna take the arms out front first, up shoulder height, out to the side, and then down. Let's repeat that. So up to shoulder height, out to the side, and down. Exhale, inhale, exhale. So in that front raise, You wanna make sure you're not swinging your hips to get the weights up. Keep those hips neutral, core tight. Keep the weight shoulder height here. You don't want to swing too far. And again, I don't even want to use that word swing. You want to lift, not swing. So we're not using just momentum, right, to lift those weights up. We're using control. We're using the muscle. Rest. All right, we're moving to our second set. So chest press. Can you go heavier on this set? How are you feeling? We're going to do one more round. Same thing again. So we're really going to work on that technique, maximizing our time, trying to reach muscle fatigue. So when we go to that chest press, we really want to focus on the range. We want to focus on the timing, slow and controlled. We want to focus on having a challenging weight. So if you're moving fast, go ahead, let's start. If you're moving really fast through the reps, like knocking out a ton of reps, I want you to go heavier on the weights. I would rather you do fewer reps and have a heavier weight. Why? Because that's gonna change your muscle. Doing 100 reps in 50 seconds with a really easy weight, it might burn, yes, but are you reaching failure? Could you go all day? If you feel like at the end of any set you could keep going, I need you to increase your weight, even a hair, 1 pound, 2 pounds, if possible, because that is what changes your body, right? It's not just a burn in the muscle, it's reaching that failure point, that fatigue, to where you feel like, okay, at the end of the set, I either had to quit or I felt like my tank was basically empty. Last one. All right, rest for a second. We're gonna go to that triangle press. So weights come up. They don't have to touch here, but they're pointed together. And we're gonna open up those arms, elbows wide at the bottom, palms face together, squeeze through the armpits to lift. So we're really feeling that targeted chest work here. Keep the weights over the middle of your chest. So it should be a little forward of the shoulders right here. That is, again, gonna allow us to work deeper into those pectoral muscles. Feeling this one today. Chest is always challenging for me, especially after that first round. We've hit fatigue, and that's the benefit. Yes, it makes it harder, but that's the benefit of the second round. We're working against fatigue, but we know the moves. We're gonna capitalize on that. So bring the weights, push them together, diamond press to the lower ribs, bring it up. Elbows in close. Elbows can go all the way to the floor or just above it. We want to come down at least to where those ribs are. Keep pushing those weights together. That's really going to help engage the tricep more. So it's not even just about holding them together, it's about pushing them together. Those little tweaks can make a big difference in the way we activate the muscle, right? And that's gonna help us reach to that muscle overload and get results faster, change our body faster. Let's rest. Okay, moving to that tricep kickback. Carefully set those weights down and come over to that hinge position. That was really awkward for me getting up. Sometimes you're just awkward, and that's okay. All right, hinge forward, kick it back. 90 degrees straight back. Keeping the shoulder down. This is a challenging movement. Even if you got 5 pounds, you may find that you can't complete the interval. That's okay. Again, lighter weight is fine for some of these smaller movements. But again, if you're just breezing through, like I said, and feel like at the end of the set it wasn't that challenging, or you could keep going, that's your sign that you want to increase weight. But heavy weight, again, is not appropriate for everything. In fact, triceps, you're gonna get to a point where you're not gonna be able to increase your weight that much on this type of exercise. And that's okay too. Different muscles can handle different loads. Other side, same thing. brace that core chest up here, even as we're hinged forward. You may find one side feels stronger than the other, and that's perfectly normal. These unilateral exercises are so important because we can even out the stronger and the weaker side, which especially pregnancy and then postpartum, you tend to favor a side for carrying the baby, nursing the baby, all the things, right? So we really want to work on unilateral training where we strengthen both sides of the body separately, so we can work on that muscle symmetry and help avoid major imbalances. There's always going to be a little bit of an imbalance, right? But major imbalances can lead to injury. Okay, push-ups. So hands just outside of the shoulders, starting on the knees or toes, your choice, coming down slow, all the way to the floor, brace that core, knees touch the ground, exhale, lift. Back on the toes, keeping that body weight shifted forward, shoulders over the fingertips, knees down. Now, even though we're touching all the way down to the floor, you're not really resting here. You're keeping that pressure on in the arms. So there's no point where you're just hanging out, lying down on the floor. If you need to, sure. But try to stay in the work, try to keep that tension on. And if you're on your toes doing this like me, even on the knees too, it helps if your knees or your toes are a little bit wider than hip distance apart. That's gonna give you a wider base of support and help with shifting your weight. We don't wanna rock too much side to side, especially as we come to the top. Rest. All right, grab those weights. We're going to the bicep curl 21. So you can go lighter, you can go heavier. What are you up for? We wanna make it through the full set. So bottom halves first, halfway down, or halfway up rather, all the way down. Really squeeze as you rotate those dumbbells to the ceiling, elbows under shoulders. 6, I think. 7, hopefully that was 7. Then stay here, top halves, 7, 6. This is one where you actually do have to count the reps. I'm so used to the timer, but it's an actual thing, 21s. It's an exercise, so you kind of have to do the 21s, otherwise it doesn't really work with the name, right? 7, full range. 6. Rotate those thumbs to the outside of shoulders. 3 more. 3, 2, 1 second to spare. All right, moving to the bent over row. You can stay lighter or go heavier. Up to you. Round 2. What do you want to do? Do you want to stay hinged forward a little higher? Do you want to go a little lower? Make sure you're stable. Weight in the heels. Hips back. Core braced. Again, you can go back closer to parallel to the floor, weights closer to the floor, if you're ready for it. This one's challenging, working that back body again. So good for posture, so good for back pain. A lot of people think avoiding things like this will help with back pain. Actually, you need to strengthen the back and stretch, release tight muscle fascia. So I've got tons of workouts like that for back pain, posture, and then stretch workouts, foam rolling workouts to help release that tight muscle fascia, which can cause back pain and tension. All right, keeping the heavy weights or go lighter, your choice. Upright rows. We're near the home stretch, or we're in the home stretch rather. Shoulders back and down, pull the elbows up and back. So for me, I feel like my tank's getting close to empty. I'm watching the clock now, so that's how you want to feel at the end of the workout. Not that you're dreading it necessarily, maybe a little bit, but overall you feel like the muscles you're working, you've exhausted them, right? You don't have that much more to give. It doesn't necessarily mean you're out of breath. Doesn't necessarily mean your heart rate's through the roof. While you could be breathless, while your heart rate could be up, it's more about the muscle feel. So shoulders, how do they feel now at this point in the workout? They feel like they're near done. I think so, last one. All right, front to lateral raise. This is gonna seal the deal. Grab those lighter weights, the lighter of the two. Brace the core, bend the knees. So up to shoulder height, out to the side, and down. Exhale, inhale, exhale. So in that front raise, you want to make sure you're not swinging your hips to get the weights up. Keep those hips neutral, core tight. Keep the weight shoulder height here. You don't want to swing too far. And again, I don't even want to use that word swing. You want to lift, not swing. So we're not using just momentum, right, to lift those weights up. We're using control, we're using the muscle. Rest. But we made it, and how good does it feel to push through? Building resilience, building endurance. That's what we did today. Check out my YouTube guides. It's a guided workout calendar telling you exactly which workouts to do when, so you can strengthen, you can tone, you can improve your body composition in a 12-week period. So hope you guys enjoyed today. Let me know what you think in the comments and give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And I'll see you back here for our next workout together.